MSNBC's debacle. It took them 29 years to figure it out. But what do you know? MSNBC, as you know it, is going bye-bye, bye-bye. Yes, and Rachel Maddow, their signature talent there, isn't too happy about it. Really not too happy. I mean, she seems a little bit miffed, if you ask me. I'm going to play or show you this commentary from her because, like you'd think it's the company and you're trying to have a good corporate line and you might try and put a good spin on it, but not Rachel. I guess we got to give her credit for that, right? Here we go. Rachel Maddow saying, here we go to Variety, that she has no idea how to pronounce Ms. now. MS now. Is it Ms. now? Is it Miss now? Is it ma'am now? Is it PMS now? Is it? I heard all kinds of things from you guys. You guys are pretty funny. Let me know if you have any suggestions, additional ones, right, on what we can possibly call this network. We used to call it MSDNC, right? But it's now MS now. So here's the thing, like Rachel, I don't think she needs the gig at this point in her life. I mean, I think that she's made a lot of money from them, so it's getting picked up by international media. I was just over in Ireland. The Irish Star is reporting Rachel Maddow has no idea how to pronounce MSNBC's new name in its post-rebrand. That seems kind of odd, don't you think? Just a teeny bit odd, I'd say. The liberal political commentator they write confesses she's completely stumped on how to say this. Like, nobody ran it by her? I guess she's not as in charge as you thought over there, right? Well, Joe Scarborough had kind of a different reaction, shall we say. I mean, he's actually the one who came out and announced the news. What do you know? And company man that he is, survivor, ultimate survivor. He could do the whole show and everything that he is. He's like going with it, I guess, sort of.
Breaking news as it pertains to our network. This morning, a new name for the network by the end of the year. We will become MS Now, which stands for My Source for News, Opinion, and the World. And look, Andrew, they even have a graphic up. I like it.
There it is.
Actually,
the new logo.
It looks very sporty. As we go to Versant, we're going to be moving in this direction, MS Now, which I got to say, I got a call yesterday afternoon and they're saying, we hope you're okay. We're going. I was like, what do you mean? Like, this shows we're independent. And what I've said on this show time and time again is you look at the people that are running the company, they're entrepreneurs.
Oh, it's just going to be great, right? Versant. However, you know what? I guess I'm with Rachel. I don't even know how to pronounce the name of the whole big shindig, the spinoff that Comcast has going. I will tell you this, guys. Comcast is like fleeing as fast as it can MSNBC and Rachel Maddow for that matter. I mean, Joe, he's a little bit more sort of with the program. Don't forget, he's the guy that went down to Mar-a-Lago, right, with his wifey there well, as Rosie O'Donnell said, right? Don't quote me. You can listen to Rosie O'Donnell to Kiss the Ring.
Hold, please. So Mika and Joe went down to Mar-a-Lago to kiss the ring. It's the last time I ever watched Morning Joe. Period. End of statement. Unreal.
I'm not so sure they're going to miss you, Rosie, but you are not quite the survivor that a Joe Scarborough and Mika Brzezinski happen to be. And the question is Rachel Maddow? I'm not so sure she is. I mean, you read the tea leaves here. He's out there praising RFK Jr. on this morning's show. I mean, it's like, wait a second. We got our red, white, and blue logo. You got them going down the Morning Joe team, kissing the ring, as Rosie O'Donnell said, trying to make nice with Donald Trump. And now this, like, listen to him talking about RFK Jr. Because, RFK Jr. actually has some really good ideas on the health front. And apparently, because Morning Joe is in survival mode, they're finally recognizing that.
And Lemire, you asked, so answer it first. Why does RFK work out in blue jeans?
And it's not just here. It's
everywhere.
Every time we see footage of RFK Jr. working out, he works out in jeans, which is not normal workout attire.
Get some sweat.
He's committed to it, though.
No, he does.
Look, there you go. I mean, he's doing all the things. The jeans don't seem to be holding him back, but I've never heard I've never heard him offer an explanation for this particular. We talked about sartorial diplomacy earlier.
Does he swim in blue
Let's not
jeans?
forget he went swimming in, wasn't that Rock Creek Park? He went swimming in his blue jeans with his family. So that's Bobby Kennedy Jr. Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth flexing for the cameras while thanking President Trump for setting the example through his presidential physical fitness initiative, which is a good thing. Let's bring in NBC News medical contributor Dr. Vin Gupta, also with us, MSNBC contributor and fitness guru.
Yeah, that's right.
Mike Barnacle.
That's right.
Also works out in full denim.
He's got the full.
The Canadian tuxedo.
It's the urban cowboy.
Yeah.
Point is, the show is suddenly getting positive on fitness because RFK Jr. is embracing fitness. And I guess they're just figuring, they kind of suck. The whole show kind of sucks. And the whole show has just been about anti-Trump, anti-Trump, anti-Trump. And now they have to have something else. And they've got that American flag, right, with the rebranding. Don't forget. Brand new look. Check it out. My source, news, opinion, world. The head of the whole network, Rebecca something, is out telling the New York Times, it's going to be great. It's going to be great. We are going to be the preeminent source for news and opinion. Oh, good luck, you guys. You just look at the logo and it tells you everything you need to know. I did see one comment which cracked me up on X where somebody was like, oh my gosh, it looks like a bad website from 2007. Okay. The peacock, it was kind of pretty. And actually it did sort of stand for something. But here's the question. So what happens now to CNBC? I used to work there. Now, CNBC is a little bit different. I actually think you have to have a little bit more of an IQ, just saying, in order to work at a business network, because you got to understand something beyond sort of, the drama and the intrigue of the political, high and mighty, left and right. You actually have to be grounded in something. For me, it was always and still is economics and policy and markets. And I look at how the markets are reacting, how the economy is responding. I like the idea that we'd still have just 2.7% inflation, which, is not bad in light of everything that we were dealing with, upwards of 9%, thanks to Joe Biden. So there's a lot of good things to praise in this economy and these markets right now. CNBC, what happens to them? So interestingly enough, guess what, guys? They get to stay and keep their name. They really do. So it just goes to show you, they don't have the stink around them, shall we say, that the likes of MSNBC has. But, it was pretty stinky because you had some stinky people stinking up the joint. The likes of, Rachel Maddow. Oh, and this one, they already got rid of her, right? Remember Joy Reid?
People are rightfully alarmed. They have a reason to be alarmed. And if you would vote for that, people may not feel so confident that they're safe with you. This is not crazy. This is legitimate feelings of fear of you and a feeling that you might not be someone they could trust if this thing goes way south.
Well, you know what? They didn't trust you now, did they? At MSNBC. Joy Reid going bye-bye. So she has left. And then the next question becomes what happens to Rachel Maddow in all of this? I think it's really clear, Joe and Mika, they're staying for all it's worth, right? They went down, they kissed the ring. They're doing puff pieces on RFK Jr. and all his health stuff. I mean, they're willing to play ball. So there's that. But what happens to the likes of, say, a Rachel Maddow, who has made it her passion in her career to do nothing but go after Donald Trump? She's already said ahead of the election, she thought that she would be out. She really did. And I would agree with her. At this moment in time, there's no way anybody's going to pay her $25 million a year, if that's in fact what she's making, to do one show a week. It just doesn't make any, I go back to my basics, in business, economic sense. But she knows it. By the way, the ladies on The View know it too. They're going to go bye-bye because, again, it doesn't make any economic sense. You can't pay them enough money in order to keep the lights on in these places.
So you said recently that you thought that you, as an outspoken critic, could be a target yourself. Some people think that sounds overdramatic, but I'm right there with you. I think that he is so vindictive that he will go after, however he has to, through the IRS maybe, or even, through sponsors to get us off the air maybe, or you. Yeah. How seriously should we be taking that?
Well, So I was asked, am I worried about me? And my answer was, I'm worried about all of us. I'm no more worried about me than I am worried about everybody in the country. I think it's bad to have somebody saying, give me as much power as you can in this country so I can use it to go after other Americans. So I can use it to go after these subhuman internal enemies and I'll destroy them. Like, that's just not a good system for anybody. And I don't think anybody's safe if that's the sort of basis on which he wants to get more power.
Okay, so she worries that she's going to be out of a job. Joy Behar has worried for a while. I think that's probably one of the reasons she put her $10 million, 4,000 square foot little house in Sag Harbor on the market. I don't know if she sold it yet, but she's reading the tea leaves. Okay, so they're all reading the tea leaves. They're figuring out, maybe we're not worth as much in this new economy, in this new world. I don't think it has anything to do with Trump and everything to do with the fact that the viewers don't trust them anymore, right? Everything that they told them was effectively bogus, and now nobody's watching them anymore. So there was this article recently saying Rachel Maddow takes this pay cut at MSNBC. This is right after the election. She was going down from $30 million a year, $30 million a year for Rachel Maddow. Wow. Good work if you can get it, right? Down to $25 million a year. And they saw this as a victory because they kept her. And I'm like, do you really want to keep her? Do you really, really want to do this? New York Times writing about this, saying, goodbye, MSNBC. Hello, Ms. Now. Ms. Okay. Wasn't there like a Ms. magazine? Don't call me Mrs., don't call me ma'am. By the way, I was reading in the New York Times, non sequitur, but related, today, and they were talking about the First Lady somehow, because they were talking about Melania Trump and her letter that she wrote, and they kept referring to her as Ms. Trump. I'm like, ooh, really, guys? All right, this must be a new standard in AP or something. Now you guys are doing Ms. all the time for every woman, no longer Mrs. I bet you if you ask her, she'd rather be Mrs. But this is the Ms. Network, no longer MSNBC. Don't forget, MS always stood for Microsoft. They got out in 2012, but for whatever reason, MS kept the branding. They became MSNBC, and they were using the resources of NBC News. But now Comcast is like, whoa, 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 no, we don't want anything to do with you because you guys are literally the redheaded stepchild that we don't want to be associated with. We'll take CNBC. We're allowing them to keep the NBC in their name. Interestingly enough, again, I mentioned that was a network I used to work for, actually used to host a show with none other than Larry Kudlow, who's over on Fox now, used to be in the White House, brilliant guy, wonderful, wonderful co-host. And we had the top-rated show at 11 a.m. for quite some time there. We had lots of good economic indicators that would come out at 11 a.m. But that network gets to stay CNBC, I guess in part because it was always cable news or consumer news and business channel. That was the original name of it. And so they're going to stick with that, and they're going with it. And that's where it remains for now. But you know what? All these kind of, not so stellar people over at the Redheaded Stepchild Network are really looking totally like redheads. I mean, you've even got Peppermint Patty to throw in the mix, right? Poor Peppermint Patty, who can't get a rating to save her life. For goodness sakes, you look at those numbers. Now you know who needs to be out, for goodness sakes. Really and truly. I mean, it's the end. It's the end of an era. 29 years down the drain. MSNBC, no more. But again, this is a bizarre place where they're kind of sort of fascist in their approach to things, or communist, or whatever you want to call it. I mean, I just look at, for example, these bizarre demands that they put on reporters. Not me. You know what? Because I don't deal with demands. I'm over here on YouTube and Spotify, also Rumble. So thank you to everybody who's watching on these various networks. Remember to subscribe, share, like, all that stuff. But this cranked me up because the Daily Beast, who's supposed to do their bidding, right? I think that they pitch stories to the Daily Beast. They're like, oh, Rachel said this on Monday night. Why don't you write about it? And Daily Beast is like, oh, thank you for the heads up. We will. And so that's the kind of site that Daily Beast is. So when they were going to announce this, big name change, they gave it to Daily Beast with some kind of embargo or whatever, and they had instructions, which is sort of funny, right, for a news network. But they wanted to make sure that in the announcement, and I'm going to quote here from Daily Beast, journalists who report on it, not the ones who actually work for the network, but the ones who were reporting on the network, were actually sent, quote, a bizarre set of demands, ordering them not to call it MS Now. When they first mentioned the network in a story or a broadcast, the email that they sent out says journalists must write out my source, news, opinion, world, MS Now in parentheses, the first time the network is name checked. And then they can use Ms. MS Now, but only if they include a space in the middle of the acronym. Quote, it was unclear if the name is supposed to be written in bold typeface as well as Trump-style all caps, but the CEO of the new parent company, Versant, that's what I call it. It's actually Versant, I think, but, I'm trying to give it a little French spin, give him a little flair. Mark Lazarus used the same bold and all caps formulation in a memo sent to staff, which was seen by the Daily Beast. The spokesperson declined to comment on whether the space was intended to emphasize whether it should be pronounced as MS Now. And then, of course, Rachel's asked about it, and she says, I have no idea. I don't know how to say the name of my new network. So if Rachel doesn't know how to say the name of the new network, and there's debate that's getting passed around about how one should say it, then I think, guys, you might just have a little bit of a problem. Here's the article again, Daily Beast. Okay, so they're writing about how this is so strange. They're saying in what seemed like it was a concession, MSNBC suggested that media outlets were also allowed to call. We're allowed. Ha! Fat chance. These people, unbelievable. MS Now, my source for news, opinion in the world, if they wanted to sound conversational. The Oxford comma is apparently compulsory. Interesting. I'm a big believer in the Oxford comma. I like it. I think it's good for clarity's sake, but a lot of modern people don't really like it that much, but they're going back to basics. You see, they're even going back to the American flag. You saw the branding, did you not? Take a peek. Nice little brand with red, white, and blue. They're getting rid of those rainbow colors. I don't know what's wrong with the rainbow. The cute little peacock. No more. No way. No how. But you know what I'm going to tell you guys? It doesn't matter. None of it actually matters, because when you look at the ratings, they're sinking. They're sinking like the Titanic. Here we go. Look at that. Unbelievable. These are actually from about 10 days ago. You look at those numbers and you have a problem. You have a problem with a network that is no longer standing any shot of success. It doesn't matter what we call it, whether there's an Oxford comma or not. You look at those numbers and you see that they are down. Somewhere between, gosh, what is that? Fox is down too, actually. This tells you a lot about cable news in general. MSNBC down 55% in demo. That's where they sort of gauge their advertisers. And they're down 58% in the overall primetime viewers. This is not, oh, look here, I even circled it for you. This is not good. I was sort of shocked that Fox was down 41%, but I think this is the sign of the times. This shows you know what it shows you? That nobody's watching cable anymore. Thank you very much for being over here. I mean, we're able to do so much. Frankly, with so little, right? Which is great. Like, this is the future. This is the new medium. I don't have to sit there and listen to the likes of MSNBC say, okay, oh, oops, what is it? My source for opinion news, whatever the heck they want you to go with, MS Now, Ms. Now, PMS Now, who knows? Former Biden press secretary Jen Psaki, meanwhile, struggling big time. Like, she can't even get on the screen, and she's down 44% from where Rachel Maddow was. So what the heck do you do? Seriously, if you're running this network, I'm going to tell you what you do. You get rid of any pricey talent. Who the heck needs them? You go out there and you try and find some new people that maybe have a little personality. And I know it's hard among the libs, but you got to find somebody with a little bit of a spark, not Peppermint Patty. She's not going to be able to do it. By the way, the public doesn't trust her. Why? Because she sat there with a straight face and told us that Joe Biden was absolutely perfectly fine. For how long? So they're not going to trust her. They trust, believe it or not, Rachel Maddow a little bit more, but they realize that she actually also sold them a whole bunch of goods, a bill of goods. She took them down the rabbit hole with Russia. I kind of wonder if there's going to be something coming back to haunt her on that front. I would just say, here's the scenario. It's ending. It's ending for this network. They had a good 29-year run. The medium has changed, right? People are over here. We're able to do a whole lot more with a whole lot less. And guess what? We don't have to answer to middle management who wants us to do this, that, and the other. So we don't have to kowtow to people. We don't have to go kiss any rings. I'm going to tell you exactly what I think all the time. It's just, last few go-arounds, I would tend to get in a little trouble for that. And now there's no one to get in trouble with. So it's a very, very different kind of experience. And it's a great one. And it's something I love. It's the beauty of being independent. And I thank you for all your support. We got a lot more news to get to today. I just want to give a shout out to my own company that I also started in addition to the Trish Regan Show. And that is the 76 Report. Go check out our portfolios there, 76portfolios.com. Look at those numbers. Our top tech pick up 84%, another up 54%. You can see inflation protection, income builder. This is the time to be in this market right now. I kid you not. I would never steer you wrong.